Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess we'll call the meeting to order. Maybe we first just do the attendance. It's always weird on this virtually how to decide how to go around. But if I just call out the names of everyone who's here, right? So we have Linda Schiacchetti, Laura Robertson, Carol Carey, Amanda Matuzik, Leo Fleischman, Jeff Corbin, and myself, Jonathan Marr. And Amy Saralamina won't make it. That's everyone, right? Did I forget anyone?
Nope, you got everybody.
Okay. All right. Okay. So first order of business is the approval of the previous minutes. Did anyone read through the minutes and find any edits that are needed?
I just had one minor one. Let me find it. I think it was line 97, line 96. It says no report, but Ms. Carey wanted to get the master plan completed. Mr. Fleischman read the draft and forwarded. It should be forwarded comments to Ms. Carey.
Yeah.
Yep, I see that.
Okay. That's all I had. I had some questions on status on some of these, but we'll get to that, I think, in the business part of the meeting.
Okay. I had two small comments. Anyone else have anything else first? And we're very small also. Little typos. First one was line 43. It says Ms. Robertson reported that phase 2 is being reviewed. I think it should be is being reviewed. Right. Okay, and then line 77. In the middle of the line there, it just says they ordered trees are too small. It should be the ordered trees are too small, I think.
Yeah,
Okay, and that's it. No one has any other comments? No one want to call to approve the meeting, approve the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
A second.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, we lost someone.
We lost Leo.
Oh,
We still have a quorum right now. I think he would join back in. There he is.
yes. Okay, it changed position now in my screen. Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes? Raise your hand, I guess. Aye. Aye.
I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't here.
Okay.
Any opposed?
No, looks like no one's opposed. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Okay. All right. So approval of the floor. Is there anything, Laura, for that?
I did not get any emails or requests from anybody to be here, and I did put on the website fairly early on that it was going to be a remote meeting. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. New business in action. All right, Laura. So you're going to tell us about phase 2 for the Rivers Ledge planting plan.
Well, I left that one on there because we are going to have to take a pretty big role. It's an ongoing project. But they haven't submitted their replanting plans. So if anybody's driven by, they probably noticed they took all the trees down. We knew that was going to happen. A lot of them were ash trees that had died. There were some nice oaks and a couple of nice white pines in there that did go. But there's supposed to be, there is a planting plan you guys have looked at that both the planning board and you and the CAC didn't think was robust enough. So they need to resubmit a planting plan to you guys, and then we'll just keep working on it. So that's just wait until we get the plans item.
And Laura, where did they take these trees down?
So if you drive down Aqueduct Road,
Yeah.
it's actually between the existing Rivers Ledge and Aqueduct Road on the more western entrance. It's quite sparse, but they do have a very robust planting plan for replanting. And I feel like we just need to maybe acknowledge that this is what happens, because on their plans it said that they were going to try and leave trees between the site and Aqueduct Road, and there's nothing left. And I feel like that happens all the time. So I feel like we need to plan for that when we're looking at planting plans.
Is this the part where is there bike trail there?
Yeah, between the bike trail and Aqueduct Road.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And like some of the things that the CAC said, just to refresh you guys' memory, were the original planting plan was like one long line of Norway spruce, I think. And we wanted, and they wanted, more diversity of species, things that can like stretch over the bike path and shade it over time, kind of clumping of species and good habitat. Like I think one of our recommendations that we gave to them was some understory and bushes too for bird habitat. I think that was
Laura-
from Amanda.
Right.
Laura, do we have to worry about headlights? Is that why they were planting conifers like Norway spruces, or is this not an issue?
No, actually the headlights won't be an issue on this one because they are putting garages with walls across the whole back of the site. So the headlights will get caught by the wall of garages. But what the planning board and the CAC is concerned, and one of the tasks they gave the tree council was the garage walls are going to be pretty close to the bike path. So they want some screening and some habitat between the garage walls and the bike path.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a good idea.
Okay, so
Yeah. 2890 River Road.
Oh, wait, before we
go
move
ahead, Carol.
on, I just had the elms that were planted in Aqueduct Park.
Yeah.
One of them has died, at least one.
Okay,
So,
I noticed one looked like the main trunk has died, but there was a sprig that was coming up from the bottom that was alive.
yeah, let me go back and, well, I don't know if I
It'll
can
be
check
hard to
now.
tell
I
you.
just noticed in the fall, one had died. And so I know we were going to be planting more in the spring, and I just wanted to note that we might want to replant one there.
Yeah, we should bring one over there so that it's that nice line that we planned out.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll check on those in the spring. I don't know if you guys have been through the park since our last meeting, which was actually October, right?
Yeah.
wait.
2 months ago. Yeah.
Yeah. But they did plant more trees out there too in the actual park part. They're really close to being done with their planting plan out there. I've checked it a couple times. They're just missing things like the sassafras and stuff like that, but in terms of numbers, they've got a ton more trees out there, and they planted their understory stuff. So they've got a lot of perennials like they did black eye Susans, and they have like Virginia sweetspire and winterberry and Clethra anifolia. I can't remember what the one that guy is. And then yeah, they've got a bunch of really good ones out there. Witch hazel. They got so if you, I mean, I don't know that you'll be able to see it as nice now because it's all winter time, but go out there. It's way different than it was probably the last time you walked it, unless you've done it recently.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. All right. So we have an update on the 2890 River Road.
2890 River Road is also holding. What we discussed with these subdivisions is that we want them to flag the limits of clearing before we go out there, and they're still working on the limits of clearing with the planning board. So that's just in a holding pattern too.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move right along then. GE2 lot subdivision, update on that.
So the update on that is they abandoned the road. They took that right out of their plans. They actually don't think that they will be building one. But if they do build one, they're going to come back for approvals on that. And we have it in your notes that you guys wanted to see where the road goes. But the one thing that you did recommend for the subdivision to assess the crabapple health, I sent this map to him a couple days ago. basically seemed a little confused about the crab apple. So I sent this to them, and then I just wanted to let you know that the planning board put the replanting of the crabapple trees near the solar farm in their resolution, which is great. They said they couldn't plant them now. They didn't even know exactly where they were, what we were talking about, which is why I made the map. But they agreed to replant them in the spring.
Okay. And do they know what type they are? Because they are crab apples, an older type of crab apple.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It looks like we've lost Laura and
Uh-oh.
oh dear. While we wait for it to come back, Jeff, how are you doing with your COVID?
I am healthy again. I tested negative today, so
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
great.
All right.
Hmm.
How's Jeanette?
she never did get sick.
Oh, okay. No.
I actually was I flew ahead of her to visit my mom in California and tested positive on day 2. And Jeanette was healthy. Arrived a couple days later and then had always planned to go and see her sister. So I was mostly by myself in my mom's first floor, which is exactly what I did a year ago in the summer. A second time out of 3 that I've gone out there and tested positive and then had to basically quarantine.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Be lucky if she invites me out again.
How old is she?
83,
Oh.
doing great.
And she didn't catch it from you either time?
She didn't. She has never had it.
Oh, wow. That's
And
great.
she is out and about more than I am.
Hmm.
So she's just got a super immune system, which apparently I didn't inherit.
Oh, well. Okay, so I don't know what we can do without Laura. You have to wait for her.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
why she hasn't come back yet.
Sorry?
I don't know why she hasn't come back yet,
Yeah.
unless she lost her internet too.
Yeah.
She's at home.
Okay.
I was wondering why GE abandoned the road. Not that I'm sorry about it, because I thought
Yeah.
it was a
M-
crazy idea.
Maybe they thought it was ridiculous too, because
Yeah.
we managed all these years without it and we were all the same company then. Seems like you can just go around the corner,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but that's good.
Yeah.
Did it look like in the plans they were adding on to the building? Did I see that in the plans?
The plans were simply for the subdivision because they wanted to finalize the subdivision.
Okay.
There
They're
was
not-
no plans to do any additions because they didn't want to compromise the subdivision.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Because it seemed like they were adding on to a building on Balltown Road at that location, but I might have.
Hmm.
Well,
They
they
had
didn't-
those.
In the plans that Laura sent us for this meeting
Well,
or in her
They at
story?
least had like the architect drawings. Didn't I see that?
I know they were doing something last year.
Let me see what page it was on. Am I making all this?
Oh,
You're
Laura's
saying on
putting up
page
a
10.
pretty picture.
Oh,
She's muted, it looks like.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
page
okay.
10.
Laura, you're muted if you're.
It must have muted me when I joined. Page 10.
Okay.
Oh, girl.
all right. Welcome back.
Sorry, I'm having. Okay, yeah. Okay, you guys are talking about 1430 Balltown Road.
No,
we
we're still on GE.
started with a question about the why GE got rid of the road.
Oh, I think they realized it was less feasible than they thought it was.
Mhm.
Okay.
And more expensive.
Okay.
So what is this a picture of, Laura?
So this is 1430 Balltown Road. If you guys can see my mouse, to the left of this building is the Ace Hardware, and then to the right of the building is WRGB. So this is like that little kind of brownish building that used to be a law office, and like behind it is the kinder care. I don't know if you guys can picture. I mean, this is a refreshed picture of it. It doesn't look like that right now. It's much darker. And then over here is like an addition, which it also doesn't have on it right now. But it's that little kind of short one-story building between WRGB and Ace Hardware. It's right now. It's vacant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the school district is proposing to move to this building and put their offices, like their headquarters, in this building. And they are trying to save as many of the existing trees as possible. Like, this is getting pretty these are the existing trees, and they're pretty close to the pavement, but it's worth trying to save them for sure.
Yeah.
This one, they're losing one tree here. See the tree to be removed. And he actually changed the parking spots to save this one. Originally, he was going to take it down, but now he's going to try and save it. They are also proposing to keep the two, I think they're silver maples in the front, and then they're proposing to plant 2 white oaks along a new sidewalk. And then this would have been an Amy Hawansky or maybe now Jeff question. They're doing a planting plan for the stormwater detention pond, which is over here. You can see it better in this guy right here. And like I think they said, it's a combination of lilies, roses, and fountain grasses.
In the retention pond?
So kind of like shielding it. So here's the new addition here. And then this is the stormwater detention pond they would put in. He said it wouldn't hold water most of the time. It's meant for the 100-year storm, so most of the time it'd be grass. And in dry times, they'd be able to mow the grass. In kind of wet times, like right now, you wouldn't be able to mow it. But
And the landscaping is sort of ringing it.
to the front right there. So he's got this big green area of landscaping, which should shield the view of the stormwater pond from the road because it's higher. Like the road is actually lower than the pond. And so they're saying like if they did a little berm and then planted it with things like this, you wouldn't even be able to tell that there was a stormwater pond behind it.
Ask them to do blue stem, either little blue stem or big blue stem instead of the fountain grass
Okay.
because it's native.
Little blue stem.
And Laura, I'm sorry, I missed who is moving in here. Who is?
The Niskuna School District main
Okay.
offices.
Gotcha. Okay.
So they're relocating them from Van Antwerp to here. And this is part of their project to bring the 5th and 6th graders to Van Antwerp and accommodate the universal pre-K at their elementary schools.
Wow.
Okay.
It seems like
Is,
a better location for the school district headquarters anyway. It's more visible, easier access, bigger space.
Is the parking lot expanding? It looks huge.
It is expanding. Does it have the old one on here? Yeah, it does. This is, whoops. Sorry, if I can click somewhere that I shouldn't tonight, I'm definitely clicking on it. That's why I left you guys. This is the existing parking lot, which has quite a bit of parking spaces. See, here's the existing trees. This is the one that they're proposing to be removed. And then the new one, I think they're adding.
So, Laura, I don't know if I got my bearings right in that picture you're just showing. Where's Balltown?
Oh, Balltown is down at the bottom down
Oh,
here.
oh, okay, I
So
get
the
it.
parking lot's behind the building. Like if
Okay.
you go and you shop at Ace Hardware,
Yeah.
you might have
It's
kind
that
of-
building in the left of this picture. I get it now. I see
yeah,
it.
yeah. And then
Okay.
like, you know, the parking for WRGB is behind their building too, which is like
Right.
way up here. So this is
Okay.
Ace Hardware parking, then this is this building's parking. And then
Right.
that but yeah, they're definitely, if you can see, like this whole area here is getting paved over.
This is a planning department question more than planning commission, more than a tree council, but you know, there's so much parking around there. If they could, you know, leave some of the green space and just have less asphalt, it would be great.
Oh, we could, I think that could be a recommendation from tree council. Leave some green space.
I mean, there's so much overflow parking in that area that is I walk behind there all the time. Actually, it's part of a regular walking route of ours. And, you know, RGH is empty most of the time. I realize you can't kind of commit to using their parking lot all the time, but boy, there's a lot of parking back there, and it looks like they've got space for like 40 cars.
Yeah, they increased it. So it was, I wonder if they have that on this map. Oh, here is this one. So they're increasing the pavement by about 4,000 square feet and decreasing the green space by about 7,000 square feet because of the addition.
Yeah, I think Jeff makes a good point. If you think right now, their headquarters at Van Antwerp, they don't have nearly that much parking.
Yeah.
Even half.
Yeah,
the
there's
parking
a
lot
sea
is
of
a big
parking
increase
lots
from
back
the
there.
Yeah.
And they're all interconnected too.
Yeah.
Okay. This came from CIC, but I mean, I feel like it could also come from us if you guys. So 2 trees along the sidewalk is nice.
Yeah.
There's room for more. And then there's
This is an opportunity. We
Yeah.
talked before about this, about setting a whole bunch of really nice trees down our main roads as a way of really making Niskayuna a real tree. This is a town building, essentially a school district. This is a good opportunity to really plant a lot of beautiful trees that arch over our road. Could we
Yeah.
add that?
I think so. There are power lines, but if you, that's what those
right.
easements are. But if you back them up a little, I think you could definitely
Hmm.
get something in there.
And I forgot where I was recently. Maybe it was Cooperstown that we were just in. And they had beautiful trees under power lines. They just kept them very well pruned and maintained. But it looked really nice.
Yeah,
So-
you don't have to be too afraid of power line. There's a lot of space there.
Yeah.
We'll just bring this up for you guys. Oops. Trusty Google.
But maybe we
Like on
could
your-
put our elm trees there that we can't put up on Hillside.
We
Power
could in the
lines.
right of way. We can't put them on their private property.
Oh,
Oh,
well, since they're a town
maples, but
thing, could we ask them?
But the elms are pretty big, would get pretty big under power lines when
Yeah, well, I guess I wasn't thinking under the power line. I was thinking
Okay.
further onto the property. I
mean-
understand Laura's point, but they're not a private I mean, I don't know the connection between school and the town planning board or anything like that, but whatever.
there's so much space right here, though. There's so much space. I haven't done this. Oh, maybe I have, but don't do it very often. But I bet you this gets really hot in the summer.
It
Yeah,
does.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So they're proposing 2 trees, like one here and one here. They're not going to touch these trees. They're going to stay. Actually, they don't look like silver maples to me. Maybe, but maybe oaks too. And then I think maybe we should see if they could fit some more in here.
yeah.
Yeah.
See if they can fit. Geez, I wonder.
Like you could fit a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's ask for a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we want to ask for though?
I would say some evergreens would be nice. Then you'd have something for the winter season.
I love evergreens.
Yeah, and this is kind of getting into our main, as I think Chris called it, our four corners.
Yeah.
If we wanted a cohesive plan,
Mhm.
because we can't, before we couldn't do anything, right, Laura, because this is a county road, but we
It's
can
a-
because they're doing development here.
It's a state road.
Oh, okay.
And actually we'd probably have them put the trees on their property so they wouldn't like technically be street trees, but they will function as street trees. The reason we can't really have them put them in the right of way is if you saw those easements, they're not going to plant the trees in those easements. But
Right. So I guess what I mean is this is one of our few opportunities in which we can have them plant trees because it's on their property and we can't do it because it's a state road. So
yeah, definitely. And I don't think you have to be too afraid of size because by the time you get away from the sidewalk and away from the easements, I mean, you're going to be putting trees like right on this little hill. So, I mean, I think it'd be fine to do bigger trees.
what's on
So
the other side?
I don't know. Oak, I would guess. Really hard to tell on Google.
But this is a school board development happening. So this comes out of people's taxes and right. So adding more trees might be a cost that'd be an issue. So let me come back to that. Do we have these elm trees we wanted to plant that we don't get to plant? Can we donate those elm trees to the school town to plant them there?
So it is an interesting idea, but I don't think we have to use our elms here, and I don't think it's a budget constraint. The school's
Okay.
actually leasing the property, and the owner is John Robb,
Ah,
and Highbridge Development, like they own Mansion Square down at across from Mohawk Commons.
right.
So they have to do some prep to the site in order to welcome the school board and get the tenant change. So, I mean, some of it would get passed on to the school and some of it the owner's just going to do as part of upkeep of the building.
Okay.
Well, we could request them to do elm trees.
Yeah, we could do the elms. I was just thinking for Ace Hardware, we had them do some ginkgo trees in the back, which have looked pretty healthy. And they did well, this is an old map, but they did, I think, maybe a service berry somewhere in here. If I remember. Remember how many times we walked that site, Carol?
I
Do you-
know.
Trying to remember, we did. Oh, maybe it was a dogwood. That little guy right there. See, they did plant him.
Well, we should have what we asked them to plant. That should be easy to look at.
Yeah, so we could pull up that plan and do similar species on this site too.
But that expansive green lawn there is just crying for us
Yeah.
to put some trees in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, big, beautiful trees.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mhm.
So evergreens,
That will
Um,
arch over the
big trees
walkway to,
that will arch over walkway.
But if we're gonna have it arch over the walkway, then we have to worry about the power lines. So we would have to be limited size of the trees, right?
Well, I'm not great at. I'm not the one to ask about that. This is the one thing that I disagree with the water and sewer department about as well.
It's too bad we don't have our buried power lines. Let's have them up above it in the air.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could do some of the normal flowering things that we do too, like the service berries and the dogwoods and those.
Yeah.
You could intermix them so that if the big ones had to be pruned funny, you'd still have the pretty flowering ones there too.
It's interesting that looking up and down the street, the trees are quite close to the power lines.
Oh yeah. Well,
Mm.
yeah. I mean, that's why I'm not a good person to ask about that because, yeah, the trees look a little you know, but
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
they
Right.
make it. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all in favor of right tree, right place, but we're not planting them under the power lines. They're going
Right.
to be along the side. Okay, so I've got plant some lots more trees, some evergreens, big trees that will arch over a walkway, and maybe some serviceberry and dogwood. Did you guys want to add anything else?
No, but we'd like to see their plan first before they just go ahead and plant that.
Okay.
Mhm.
E plan. Oh, and I did write little blue stem, Jeff, for the
Thanks.
T plan first. I think that like when they say lilies and roses, like I mean I like daylilies, but if they're just gonna plant like what's the one they plant everywhere?
Oh, the
Aloes.
Stelladora. The Stelladora, that orangish one.
Yes, that
Mhm.
one. I feel
Mhm.
like they could do better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ask for native species.
Yeah, let's just ask for native species. So I'm next year note I'm gonna say little blue stem and native species.
And you know, a good combination are the black-eyed Susans and the Rebecca and the coneflowers
And the
together.
witch flowers?
Coneflowers
Oh, coneflowers. Yep. The echinaceas.
with some grasses. Yeah.
Yeah, I love those guys. Okay. See plan first before. Yep, just like we did with Ace Hardware. So we're not treating them any differently.
Hmm.
Okay. Anything else? And then the last one was just an update because Market 32, I don't know if you guys heard, but Market 32 is taking over ShopRite Plaza, which
Mhm.
is good for us. So it's not going to stay vacant for 20
Yeah.
years between Grand Union and ShopRite.
Yeah.
But you know, we've been working very hard on this plaza. I didn't put our wins on this map, but we got Starbucks to take the dead elm trees down here, ash trees, sorry, down here and plant some new ones. Chase Bank just went in, and I don't know if you guys have been by or noticed, but they filled these islands in with more trees just as we asked. I think I was out and Carol put together a really good memo for Chase Bank, which I very much appreciate, Carol. And they did everything that we asked over here. They've planted more crab apples over here. The only thing that we still need to work on them. Well, I can continue to work with them because you guys already did your recommendation. Is whatever they planted over here is not big. Like, you know, we asked them to do big trees over here because that was all ash trees that died. They did finally pull all the ash trees and they planted a whole line of stuff. But whatever it is very small. So I still think I want to try and get them to do bigger trees over here. But we've never been able to work with ShopRite because we had no leverage. Like I think I walked in, everyone talked to the manager once and nothing happened. So with Market 32 going in, we have a ear of the landowner and who I've never met before, but they I think should refresh or look at refreshing all the landscaped islands here. Most of the trees there are very in poor shape. And, you know, and it's hard for me because if they're still alive, I kind of just don't want to kill them. But some of them are definitely already dead, especially like down here. You can kind of even see on the aerial where there's like no branches. So I just had that as something that I sent on. If you guys had anything specific you wanted to tag on in there, I can, because they're going to come back to the planning board in January. But it just like while we have them, I like to try and keep working on this town center.
Well, I think there are some nice crab apples in there. If we could do more crab apples or something, or there were some service berries.
Yeah, they do have some nice crab apples.
Yeah.
They had a lot of ashes that died. So, crab apples.
I was trying to look if I had the pictures.
It
They
depends.
planted some birch trees, didn't they?
Yes, they did. If you go over here, we had them plant birch and serviceberry. So they planted serviceberry. I think this was a Jeff recommendation. They did serviceberry in each one of these little islands, which is great. So there's 4 trees here now. And then they put some more birches on these sides. And they look really good.
Mhm.
So we put crab apples, serviceberries, and birches.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
Keep it consistent.
The problem is, there's 3 different owners for this plaza,
Oh.
which is why it's not always very consistent. But if we're consistent with our recommendations, it should help. So we did crab apples down here, and then we did the serviceberries and the birches up there. So that makes sense to me. I'll put
Yeah, and
that-
I don't know if you can see, this is very difficult because it's just on my little phone, but this was the trees in bloom
Nice.
by, where the birch trees, it's in that area.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's going down the hill from ShopRite, right? Down the hill.
I don't remember now. I, I took a lot when I was there that day figuring out things.
Because they're so pretty. There's also smoke bushes over there. I think that's these guys. I think it's these guys. They're mature crab apples and they're really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought if we had more of those, it would kind of tie in a little bit. So,
Mhm. So yeah, because those ones are right here. So I think it would be good if we could get like kind of a robust line of crab apples. Just like I don't know why they're doing so good here, and these guys are all dying. But but I think that's a great idea. So I'll add that in there.
Any idea on the timing of the Market 32?
Yeah, they seem to want to move really fast. They are already figuring out the restructuring of the inside. They are proposing to change the entrance a little bit, and I like it actually. It's more similar to the way that you'd go into a Market 32, where when you walk in, you have the shopping carts on that you can grab. They're gonna set it up so like you walk in, it's not gonna have that long corridor like ShopRite had.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
changing that inside.
mhm.
Nice.
But I would say based on how quickly they're submitting their plans that I mean they're definitely trying to have the least amount of downtime they can. I don't know exactly how long it takes to redo the inside of the stores, but when they do their own renovations, which they've done down at Mohawk Commons, like I think they did them within 6 months.
Oh,
They have a pretty good system because they changed all their Price Choppers over to Market 32.
Right.
And they would
Yeah.
and they kept the stores open, which I don't know that they can do with this one, but they move. They go pretty fast.
good.
Okay. Any other questions on that? I guess was the last new business, all right?
Mhm.
Okay, so discussion items. So we have Arbor Day trees order was an issue you mentioned in an email. We had our order wasn't accepted because the wrong way of guess it. You want to re-explain that, Laura? Was it we did a bad job at ordering quantities of certain types of trees? Was that the issue?
I guess I did not realize this. Nick didn't tell me when he sent me the guide, or maybe he didn't know. But when Nick orders them from his place, like they were because he's a bulk orderer. It's not like when we order them, for the seedling sales, because he's bulk ordering. They require a minimum of 50 of each type of species that he orders, and we
Wow.
only had 2 that were 50. We only had the red buds and the
So in past Arbor Days, each tree that we were selling, we had 50 of them.
oh no, because we normally just buy them from the sale, so you can buy 5 if you want. This is like, he was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're spending, like town money to buy trees from us. Like, we're Schenectady County. Like, we'll order your trees for you. We'll just put all the order in. And then when they come, like, we'll just share shipping. Like, you don't have to pay any of the profit that, the soil and water conservation gets, which is not very much, by the way, but, but because it's an order in bulk, they rejected. And remember how hard we worked on it? But
Yeah.
So one thing we could do is we could just keep our order exactly the same, and then only order 50 of the 2 that we have 50 of, and then we would just have to buy the trees regular. We might have to buy slightly less because they're more expensive the other way. But, or like I sent you in the email, he's actually purchasing some quite different species that we haven't given out before. He's already met that 50 threshold on those. So we could pick any of those and make them some of our Arbor Day trees too. And I accidentally closed out of everything on my computer, so I'll have to see if I can pull that email up when I left you guys and Linda stepped in.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Is this the list that starts with Pussy Willow?
Yes. And I
That's
think
pine there, and Norway spruce, and tulip poplar, black satin blackberry, arborvitae.
well, he's not sure he can get us arborvitae, but we could buy arborvitae, later.
When was that sent?
So I sent it yesterday.
Laura
I found
forwarded
the
us.
original.
It was sent at 3:44 p.m. It's December 12th.
Okay.
If you scroll down on that email.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So these are ones he's already ordering 50 of?
Yeah, so we could order like 5 of any of those. I mean, we normally order more than 5, but those ones have already met the threshold. And then he sent me that link, which I wasn't able to click on yet.
Didn't we already have pawpaws on our list?
Yeah, some of those I think we already had, like John, you mentioned the pawpaws, and like sometimes we get a Fraser fir or some sort of fir, or tulip poplar.
Yeah, we have done. I also attached the order that we initially sent to him.
Yeah, that's
So we did not have pawpaws this year.
Oh.
Here, I what I can do is it's hard for me to share my email screen, but I can share the order that we did, and then you guys can look at what is in that email. Hold on.
Laura, I have a question.
Mhm.
The ordering from this company, is it a minimum of 50 or chunks of 50?
I didn't ask that.
Because we
Well, good
can't
question.
have 5 more if it's chunks of 50.
No, I think it's a minimum, because when I was talking to Nick, I asked him what he ordered, and he said we could tag on to his order. And I mean, it's not the end of the world, because it's just saving us money so we can get more trees.
Yeah.
I feel like we could definitely still do the red bud and the lilac, because we already had 50 of those, so no problem. And then if you guys wanted, because people love the flowering so much, we could bump the serviceberry and the dogwood from 40 to 50. And then we have a good chunk of the smaller to medium-sized flowering trees that people really like.
Right.
All the other ones we just had small amounts of.
So there's tulip poplar in there. That one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's Norway spruce.
Norway spruce is there also. Yeah.
So we
So-
should be able to tag some of that in, and then I'm having a really hard time getting that email up, but
And he had a raspberry in there too.
yeah, so we could use his raspberry.
Oh, blackberry. He had a blackberry.
Oh, well, That's fine,
Yeah,
right?
black satin,
Blackberries are more like
blackberry.
vines,
Mhm.
but that seems fine.
I
about
like
that-
Mountain
how about-
Ash. That's another one he had.
Mhm.
They have really great berries for,
What's that dogwood like? That red osier dogwood? Is that a
those
nice
are the
dog?
small dogwood.
Those are like bushes, but they're pretty.
Mhm.
So one thing on here, I know it is a bush, and we don't give out bushes that much, but a spice bush, we've never given out a spice bush, and they're like a native version of forsythia. I don't know. I think spice bushes are cool. They're not trees.
But do we things that people haven't heard of, like they wouldn't go very well?
Yeah.
True.
I think we could take some things off. I was the
Yeah.
proponent for the bur oak. Let's take off the bur oak.
Okay, wait. I can probably just do this.
I would probably take off some like some of the cannon fir too and keep more of the Norway spruce or
Okay, so yeah, so we can up the Norway spruce. Yeah, it's sad about the sycamore. I mean, maybe we could just buy some sycamores and
What
Tupelo.
if we?
Yeah. Sycamores are nice.
yeah, I wish yeah,
What
we
about-
could plant some with
you
the
think-
town.
Could we consider 50 sycamores?
I mean, that's a thing too, because I betcha, I kind of wonder sometimes how much our little seedling survives, but I betcha sycamore seedlings do pretty good. I betcha.
Well, and this is a weird thought, but if we planted a sycamore as a town tree and we really promoted it, then I bet we'd, like we did, like the one year with was it the sassafras?
It's the sassafras.
Yeah. So I
So
mean,
very
if we
sorry
did
about
something,
that.
if we did something similar with a sycamore, I bet a lot of people would ask about it. So
It's true. And actually, we planted a sycamore as our second Arbor Day tree or first. I can't remember. And it is doing beautifully. It's like so nice.
maybe we take off the river birch and up the sycamore. We still aren't hitting, I mean, do 50 sycamore and take off a couple others.
Oops. Yeah, I can't. This is just notes to myself because it's not the spreadsheet. But okay. So, sycamore. Yes. 50. And then probably can't do the shagbark hickory and Tracy said, but we could do a couple tulip poplars because we can tag on to his tulip poplars.
Yeah.
And we can do the Norway spruce. And you want to add some mountain ash in there? And you guys
Yeah.
want to? I don't know Rocky Mountain juniper. I have no knowledge of it.
Yeah.
No, I know the mountain ash though, and those are not, they're nice for birds.
I don't. I mean, I have just heard that they're more resistant to the ash borer, but they can still. I mean, oops, it's not Rocky Mountain ash. I was looking at the other one. Can still succumb, but it seems
Oh.
like we should still plant them if
And how-
I don't know.
How about the Fraser fir? That we can get some of those. That's a nice, right? Get a fir tree in there.
Oops.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
worry.
That was
You're
our,
fine. Yeah, so we could do Fraser fir, Norway spruce, arborvitae, mountain ash, tulip poplar, sycamore. Did he have maples? I don't think he had maples.
we didn't have maples.
No maples. Yeah.
But we could do maples if we wanted. Because like I said, we can still order them through the regular way of ordering them in the spring.
Though Amy made an interesting point at the last meeting that there's maples all over the place. They're so common around here.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not unreasonable to, if we're trying to give trees away, give them something different.
Okay.
People feel differently. They feel we should be giving maples.
I could go either way. I mean, people know the maples and they're, common, but It is nice to have kind of unique. Well, we like unique ones. I don't know if people are like, I don't know what these things are. So
I like unique ones.
Then
Okay,
one and some more trees.
So these guys will be all plus 50. So we'll do 50 red buds, 50 lilacs. Why?
Mhm.
50 serviceberry and 50 dogwood because people love those. They love them.
mhm.
That's going to be good to have that many because we
Because
always
they
run
like
out.
they go so fast anyway. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then maybe we could buy some Tupelo in the spring. We could do 50 sycamores just to try to get the big trees out there that are easy to grow.
Mhm.
And we
The
could just
tulip
do like,
poplar, mountain ash, we can do a lower number because they already have 50.
what do you think? Like mountain ash is probably small to medium, so 20.
Sure.
Okay. And then
What about Fraser fir and Norway spruce? Are we keeping it at 10? Or are we going up with those?
we should probably up those a little bit. I can play with the numbers at the end.
Yeah.
But do we want to add pawpaw back?
Yeah, we could, since we can get those with a smaller number of them. That's a good idea.
Okay. And then did we want to add in the Rocky Mountain juniper? Does anybody know anything about that guy, or we don't just leave that alone?
Doesn't sound very native, does it?
It does not. Nope. Okay, so let's put pawpaw up here because it's kind of small.
In terms of the numbers, we're up to 280, and then there's still another 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 trees we haven't given numbers to yet.
Should we do like how many pawpaws did we say? Like 20?
You know, fir, spruce, and arborvitae. How many each of those you think? Yes,
I was just reading about. Well, so if we did 20 of each, well, actually, people really like the arborvitae.
100, 200, maybe 300, 20, 330, 340. Yeah. Okay.
And then maybe we did like 30 arborvitae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Arborvitae are easier to grow.
Yeah.
And people
I
like
think
them.
that people like that.
Yeah, they do. And they're,
And we can do blackberry instead of raspberry.
let's do blackberries.
There's also gooseberry if we want to try that.
Blackberry, gooseberry. Yeah, I think we should do that. Then we have 2 berries. 20 of each. Oh, blackberry is really like a vine. Okay. People like the berries, and they're good
Uh-huh.
for the birds.
We're up to 410 now, not counting the black tupelo.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's about right.
Yeah, we were at 400 before.
So maybe we won't even be able to do the black. So we'll have less selection, but we can really hone in on species
Yeah.
this year and talk to people about how cool they are. And
Mhm.
like to Carol's point, maybe we could highlight the sycamore, which is why we have 50 of them. Because
Yeah.
people on their own will get the red bud and the lilac and the serviceberry and the dogwood. But we could really highlight sycamores and how cool they are.
Yeah, because remember that year everybody was asking for the sassafras. You know,
I'm
so
still a little sad about that.
so if we do that with the sycamore, we'd have 50. So that would be great if people really wanted to plant 50 sycamore, you know, if we could.
Also, it'd be good to get those big trees going in people's backyards and stuff, especially where like people are going to start losing their silver maples.
Yeah, miscounted. It's 370 now, I think, actually. 100, 200,
Then let's put the Tupelo back.
300.
Because So maybe we could do 30 black tupelo in the spring, and that could be, if people ask for maple, we could be like, we're not doing maples, but these have the red color in the fall, and they're like what the town's using instead of maples. And then maybe we could get some black tupelos out there.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Are we feeling pretty good about that?
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay. And whoopsie.
Okay. Other than that, was Central Arbor Day, right? They're going to order those trees, and then I guess we do a lot in January for this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. The Hillside Avenue plan. All right. Okay. Yeah. So what's this? Right. We had a big discussion about this last time, and I guess, is there any progress on that, or what's the status of that?
No, I wasn't really able to pull that off. I really
Yeah.
wanted to, but I wasn't able to. I think Amy moved the flags for me and everything. I just ran out of time. But we
Okay.
did a lot of the work, and I think possibly we could do it in the spring still.
Okay.
That would be nice, you know, if we could do them in the spring.
Yeah, because we talked to a lot of the people, and they were very supportive, which is really nice.
Well, yeah, and then you want to make sure you follow up and do it. You know, you hate to go and tell them you're going to plant trees, and
Yeah.
then you don't go and plant trees.
Although we had no idea how difficult the utilities were over there.
Mhm.
We didn't.
But
But
we
yeah.
should follow up with them then and let them know that, you know, this is why we aren't planting the trees as
Yeah,
much
that's-
because we have utility issues.
Yeah, we could because it is slowing down now. We could maybe just draft a letter to all the homeowners and say, we looked at this fall. It was great talking with you. There's a lot of utility conflicts, and we're going to try and fit what trees we can in the spring, but it's probably going to be a much smaller planting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think, you know, because we did talk to the homeowners, it's nice to keep them informed.
And a lot of them really wanted trees.
That's encouraging. That's nice.
It was, you know how sometimes we go out there and they're like, we don't want trees. Why are you here?
Yeah.
That did not happen.
Great.
Amy
Great.
commented that some of the owners may be interested in planting their own trees. So maybe add a comment in the letter that if you want to put something on your lawn from the blacktop, go in 40 feet and then you could plant something.
But
Yeah.
called, what do you call, what's the name you call before you dig? That, whatever.
Dig
Yeah.
Safe in New
Dig-
York,
Big say.
Yeah.
but also give them the estimate of the right of way. And I think some of those pipes are deeper than the right of way. So Laura, we need a better number.
Yeah. There's a lot of utilities in that corridor.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So even the houses that we can't plant because of the utilities, they
Mhm.
now have the knowledge to plant themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Linda, can you help me put on my calendar that I'll draft a letter and I could share it with the tree council? Thank you.
Do we have, if some resident were to call us and say, hey, I'd like to plant this tree, but I'd really like some help doing it, do we have landscapers or arborists that we recommend to people to help them plant trees?
No. Usually if somebody calls with that question and it's not me that they get to speak with,
Yeah.
they get referred to the tree council.
No. Okay. So we're not much help to them. Basically.
We are. I think
Okay.
Jeff's gone out and talked to a couple people. Amy Holansky used to go out and talk to people all the time in their backyards.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
know. I think she's kind of avoiding my calls, but I'm trying to get Amy to come back to us.
Yeah, we need her.
We need her.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the tree article for the town, last time we read it, we all liked it. And what's the status with that? Are we gonna send that in soon, or we're sending a blast email? That's the plan.
I think it's ready to go unless you want to make any changes, Jeff. I thought I had actually sent it to the supervisor, but I went and looked at my email, and the last email I could find was that everybody in the tree council was just double checking it. So
Let me
as long
just
as
read it one more time and then I'll send it to you guys. I'll send it to you tomorrow. And,
Okay.
Laura.
Yeah, because I remember at the last tree council meeting, we all approved it or liked it. So-
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great.
Right, I
I'm
guess
glad.
Jeff, you weren't there for that. Is that right? You missed last meeting?
Yeah, I think I was going to Toronto or something like that.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Well, we all really liked it, Jeff.
Yeah, we
Thank
did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have no
And I know
comment.
we had talked about doing it as a daily gazette, and I'm some of you have heard me talk about the project I'm doing with my student about Schenectady's trees, and I don't want to kind of make it sound like we're so much better than Schenectady because it's really not their fault. But I think if it's within Niskuna and we're touting the work that we're doing, then I think that sounds great.
Yeah, so I think we're going to do an email blast and put it on our
Yeah.
website, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay.
And you know what I missed this fall, John, was our photo contest.
Yeah.
don't-
Mhm. So did I.
Yeah, we got to get going. Plan something more. I was walking on the bike trail. I saw this beautiful two trees, one yellow, one red, right in front of each other. It was a beautiful picture. I thought it would have been good for the photo contest.
Mhm.
I think that builds a lot of goodwill too. I don't know if you guys know this, but the supervisor actually has the pictures from our fall photo contest in her office. Like that's what she chose to decorate her office with.
We should take
Okay.
some pictures of that and do something with it.
Yeah, she put me a little montage of them. They're really nice.
Okay.
We could do a winter. We haven't done a winter photo tree contest yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. We got to get going on it. I guess it's not snowy yet. We get going soon. Nice winter.
Yeah, because if you
Trees.
get like an ice storm or something, like you can get
Yeah,
really
yeah.
trees.
Mhm. And then eventually we were thinking, because we've done a fall and a spring, we could do a calendar at some point in time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Does one of you want to volunteer to see if they can find our last material on the fall photo contest and edit it and try and make it into a winter?
When it comes January, I'll have time to do stuff like that if we're still going for it. So I might see what I can do for come January.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't think we do anything between now and January. So if you think
Okay.
you can, yeah, I think that would
Yeah.
work.
And I
Okay.
can look too, because I have a lot in my files here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, good idea, Carol.
Okay. Fall trainings.
I just was reading through the minutes and saw that on our agenda and reached back out to Jess Cancelleri. She was working on a course for us and I think that we decided what she was going to teach was good, but she just never sent us any dates. So I reached out to her and asked her what dates she can do. But that should be pretty easy because she does those trainings and she's willing to do one. So when she picks a date, then we can just email blast and put some flyers out, and that'll be some good stuff for people to learn about trees.
Yeah, I think timing in the year might be important and get to have people come. We kind of missed the fall.
Yeah.
Say that again, John. When did you think?
Well, I didn't say when it should be. We said fall training. We missed the fall, but I'm not sure that people will be thinking about trees through the winter.
Mhm.
Maybe they will. Maybe it's a good time. I don't know. What do you think? Is it good to do a training session in February or March, or should we push it off?
I'd say early spring, maybe.
March, yeah.
Oh, and we should look at, I'll send out that, remember those growth awards that we could get from Tree City? And one of it was education. And we should just make sure that what we're doing could qualify to get us points for that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So, if she comes back to me with dates that are like soon, you want me to say why don't we wait until March and then see what she has availability in March
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
I think
that's
so.
a good idea.
or April?
Is this a
Well-
training for us or for the town people?
For the town.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what so Jeff knew her. I actually knew her. I didn't realize we knew the same person. Because she's on the Schenectady County Environmental SCIAC.
Mhm.
I knew her from the Invasive Species Task Force, not from SCIAC.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, no, that's where I knew her from too, actually.
But Amanda raises a good point indirectly. In terms of trainings for us, we've also, I think a number of us have expressed the desire that we could use more training ourselves to be able to identify healthy, sick trees and stuff like that. Can we maybe plan something for one of our meetings so someone can just spend 10, 15 minutes?
Oh,
Teach
yeah, I think
us
that's a great
important
idea.
things? Yeah. Do we know I guess just get an arborist to come?
Maybe even the January meeting if we don't have a lot of like site plans to work on.
Yeah, the only thing in January, we typically try to figure out our goals for the year.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So-
that's important though.
And we should be thinking about that between now and January, what we want our goals for 2024 to be. So, and the only other thing is, spring is good, but April is when the Arbor Day event is. So we're probably gonna be pretty busy in April, those couple weeks leading up to the Arbor Day event. So maybe March or May. So.
Okay. Jess, she actually emailed me back. I'm a little behind on my emails. And said she can pretty much do it anytime. So
Mhm.
Okay, so have Jess come to a training for the public in March? Did I miss anything? It was February an okay time for us to get some training?
February. Yeah. You know what? Let me reach out. Yes, I think it would be okay, but we do have like the region's premier Arbor Day, which
Yeah.
starts to ramp up. But I think we could probably swing a little bit of training in, or we could do it a separate night too. I could see in February.
Okay. I guess that could maybe that isn't a hurry because we're not going to be asked to do much of that during the winter. Maybe we can put that off after Arbor Day, actually, maybe.
Oh. We're busier in the summer too, though. Let me just see if I can find someone.
Okay.
Maybe I think there's a lot of advantage to having like a live person because you can ask questions.
Yeah.
But there might be some webinars and stuff that I could send out to you guys too that might just be fun to watch, on a Saturday morning when it's snowing or something.
Yeah. Sure.
Let me
Okay.
see what I can find for you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thanks. All right. So how are we doing on the Tree City certification? That's the next item on the agenda.
Okay, so that did get submitted, and I don't expect to have too many problems with it. We met all of the thresholds that were needed in order to be recertified. I did have to ask for an extension. He did say that if you get an extension this year, you won't get one next year. So December 1st is the hard deadline next year. But they were fine. They were very good to work with. I did submit it.
Okay.
The one thing that when Carol was talking about goals, I know we've struggled with this before and I still don't have a good solution to it, but we planted one tree this year as the town. So,
Whoa. Wow.
like, I don't
Yeah, how did that happen?
we need to elevate the goal and just keep thinking about it and keep working on it.
And we can't hire a contractor.
So I haven't read it yet, but I did get an email from the Arbor Day Foundation that said the EPA is putting out $3 billion or something like that to help communities with their tree planting. And like, I don't know if something like this could qualify, but like if we were able to get a grant to fund an arborist to work for the highway department or something, you know? So like we're giving them a person that the town doesn't have to pay for that could
Mm.
help them plant trees or something. I don't know if that would qualify in the grant. I was gonna look at it. I just saw it come in today.
Can you send that out to all of us to look
Sure,
at?
yeah,
'Cause,
I can send it. Yeah.
you know,
it came from the
because we talked one time, if we had a specific project, you thought that we could maybe hire a contractor for like a scoped project.
especially if it's a grant. Yeah, especially if. Mhm.
Do you feel like that one tree, the absence of trees planted, that's because the highway department isn't prioritizing the time to do it? Or is it that we and the community isn't putting in requests? Like, where's the bottleneck in terms of people asking for trees or getting trees that have been asked for planted?
I believe the bottleneck is actually just staff. So,
Planting.
yeah, I believe that the way that it works right now is if a tree is taken down, and I think we took 67 down this year. If a tree is taken down, the property automatically goes on the replanting list. And then they'll go back out when they have the trees and then talk to the people who lost the trees and make sure they can fit one. And so the removal list directly becomes a planting list. And then people are also allowed to request to be on the planting list, which I know that we do have a planting list. And you know, I talked to the highway superintendent about planting trees this fall quite a few times. He was trying very hard to accommodate. He's like, I know, Laura, I'm working on it. He's not able to get to it. So I do feel like it's a staffing issue. And
Wow.
that is like kind of the hardest to tackle, I think, which is why I'm trying to think outside the box a little bit to see if there's a way that
We have some real fans on the town board. I mean, it seems like that's a matter of priorities. And it just sounds like it's not a priority of the highway department, the way a pothole is. And is that the way the town council feels?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Another thing I was thinking is, you know, the highway department is the one that is responsible for planting the trees. But like you say, they're also responsible for filling the potholes. I don't know if it makes sense to see if the parks department can plant trees. I don't know.
There we go. That sounds like a great idea.
You know, like it gets a little tricky when you're kind of looking into other departments' business because they don't really appreciate that. But it seems like there's got to be something we can do to help so that we can get more trees planted. I think the last couple of years we've had about 60 to 70 trees come down. Like last year we were able to plant a bunch of elms, so that helped our numbers. The year before we had the county plant trees for us and we had elms, so that helped our numbers. But this year we didn't have any of those projects, so the only tree we planted was the Arbor Day tree.
Wow.
I would just be really afraid if my tree in my front yard went down, when and would I get another tree? If the backlog is in the 60s and growing every year and we're never making that up, you're never going to get attention.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I also worry that if we're taking that many down and we're not, I mean, you'd almost want to do double what you're taking down.
Right.
But
Yeah,
at the
because we're
very least-
losing canopy overall.
Yes. And I
So-
know that this has happened over time for, you know, they got behind on the list, then they'd get a little extra money and then they'd catch up. I do think it's a little bit cyclical, but I just would like every year to at least break even somehow.
So Laura, who's our liaison on the town board? We used to have Denise, who kind of worked with us, and then
Mhm.
Rosemarie. Who is it that we could go speak to?
So this year, when I was a little concerned about tree planting, we met with Bill McPartlin. I think the committee's structure is proposing to change though, and so potentially, no, I think it's still going to be Bill McPartlin.
He's a fan.
Could we
Yeah.
set up a meeting with him or even the town supervisor and just explain our concerns?
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
it's timely. Yep.
I think we expressed the way Jeff did too. It's not just our concern. All those people who lost trees, they're not getting replaced. I mean, they must be unhappy about that.
Well, and
Yeah.
not only that, but our, Niskayuna is kind of known for its
Yeah.
trees, and we're losing tree canopy
Yeah.
every year to a significant degree without the replanting coming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like to help, but our planting plan can't rely solely on like Laura and the tree council coming up with every single place to plant a tree.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
no.
we need more people, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think that's sustainable. I mean, I love trees and I try to do it, but it's got to be like, it's got to be somehow embedded into the actual, and like I can't even, so something to just note is that maybe some of this is coming from because the amount of hours that our guys spend on maintaining and pruning trees is massive. It's like I could oh, I closed down my computer, but I can send you guys the amount of hours. So it's not like the town isn't
I believe that.
like spending a lot of time on trees. They're spending like a huge chunk. I think it's something like $170,000 on maintaining the trees. Just back of
Wow.
the envelope calculation. So it's not like we're not investing in the trees, but it's maintenance, pruning, and removal. And I think a lot of that is because the trees are getting so old. So then by the end of the day, the tree crews have been working all day. They've been working on trees all day, but they have not had time to plant any. So that's just something that we have to figure out.
And we somehow can't get that into the process, removal, plant, because if they're removing I don't know, that it's a complete cycle, that it's not complete until they've planted a tree. If
Yeah,
they've
like
removed
when
one.
they go to like grind the stumps down, plant a tree there,
Right,
grinding the stump down or something.
right. Yeah,
That'd be better because then at least you'd be closer to your 60.
we at
But-
least kind of be maintaining a little bit. We're losing,
Hmm.
so.
We're definitely losing. We've been losing the last couple of years.
Mhm.
If it's a staffing issue, you can also say that means it's a budgeting issue and it's not getting enough attention in the budget.
Well, it's definitely not a budget. So, because we've fought for the budget a couple times, the budget doesn't get spent. I don't think it doesn't get spent, which to me is, again, it's a staffing
Right.
thing. And again, it's not like they're not doing anything. I mean, they actually spend a lot of hours on trees. When you look at how the highway department's guys' hours are allocated, there's definitely a lot of hours spent on trees.
But
Um,
I guess I
Lauren,
meant budgeting for hiring people to do it.
Oh yeah, well that's what. See, I really wonder. I pulled up the email on my computer. I just have to type you guys' emails in it. But I really think we've talked about this before. But getting an arborist on staff who can kind of lead a tree planting crew or just kind of help the guys. Because another thing we've talked about before is that when we plant these trees and then they weed whack them, they don't live for very long, which is not a good investment from the town either. We really have a couple things that we need to work on.
Yeah, two things, Laura. What is our budget for the coming year? And then also, I thought they were hiring that one guy who had retired. I actually ran into him and talked to him, who was going to just focus on planting trees. I can't
Mike
remember.
Gentini, yeah, they were. They never did though. He never came back to my knowledge.
Because he was interested.
Yeah, yes, he was. So in the spring, when we were concerned, I met with Bill McPartland, and that was the solution, but it didn't get implemented.
And then what is our budget for the coming year?
So I believe it has stayed the same, which is 4,500 for replacement trees, 4,500 for new trees, and then actually I think it was 10,000 for miscellaneous and it went up to 12,000, but the miscellaneous is usually having to pay for a crane when the trees are too big for our guys to take it down.
Okay.
So we didn't lose any of our budget. It's not being spent.
Right. And that makes it worse because then we're at risk of getting it reduced if we're not using it.
Right. But
Yeah.
even bigger problem is that the trees aren't being replaced.
Right. Right. Okay.
And that's just kind of the black and white numbers that come up when you do a Tree City recertification. So like I said, I think our certification should be fine because we spend so many hours on maintenance, and we meet all of the standards that are required to be certified as a Tree City. It's just, when you submit that, you see those numbers in black and white and you can see them for the last couple of years. And that's where you're kind of like, what can we do to help? Like we've got to do something to help if we can. With no blame, helping.
That's a good point to emphasize to Bill if we get to meet with them, that this is something we point to with pride in being a Tree City, tree certification Tree City, and that may not last forever at the rate that things are going.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, at some point the standards I think are going to matter how many trees you plant, but right now how much money you spend, and because of our maintenance, like we're fine, but it's not really fine if we're only planting one tree.
No.
Yeah,
And it's not like this was the first year. It's going down every year.
It has
This was the
been.
Well,
worst.
and what maintenance means is they're chopping limbs off.
Yes, exactly.
Like I realize why they're doing it, but it is they're not fertilizing trees, and they're not, talking to them and babying them to grow bigger. They're lopping limbs off. They're making them smaller.
Yeah, exactly. Mostly for the right-of-way reasons.
Yeah, I mean, I've had them cut off of my tree. I'm happy for having had that done, but
Yeah, I don't mind reaching out, but if you guys also want to reach out and see if you can get, I'll be there. You guys can meet without me. It's entirely up to you how you want to handle it. I do think that a meeting when we can, just to see if we can help, and I will send you that grant. I want to read through it too, because I don't want to be we're having problems, but we have no solution. Like, here's some ideas, that we have. I don't know if they work or not, but we could certainly.
I'd be willing to be part of that meeting if others want to join.
Me too. And I know Chris, who's no longer on the council, said if we did have a meeting with the supervisor on this, he would be willing to also join because he felt strongly about it.
Yeah, he's been an advocate before. You and him did that budgeting thing that I think helped us that one year.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be happy to join too.
Okay. I will. Sorry, Linda. I don't have anything else to write on. Can you write? Can you do ask the supervisor and Bill McPartland for a meeting? Probably not until January.
Yeah.
Just put it out there and then that'll give us time to come up with some ideas and things that we can do to help, some grants or whatever we can think of to help.
Yeah, Laura, can we see the Tree City applications to see?
Yes, I can send it to you all. I was gonna put it in the packet, but I was a little bit nervous because it only showed one tree being planted. So I will email it to you.
Okay.
I mean, Ray was going to try and plant trees all the way up until even a couple days ago. He was still trying to get some in the ground because I would look at him every time he came into the town hall. But I think we missed it. So I feel like I put down one. It's unlikely that we're actually going to get any more this year, I think.
Yeah, only 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's not what you're focusing on the last couple
No,
weeks.
but the thing about sending you the certification is you can see the numbers that I was telling you about the maintenance, so you'll be able to see that.
And I'd like to trend it over the last few years to kind of see, how it's going. So.
Yeah. The interesting thing is I think the reason they changed it to December 1st is they changed their portal. So the inputting is slightly different and some of the questions are slightly different, but you can still see the trend of planting and replanting over time.
Okay.
All right, it's getting pretty late, but we haven't done a report yet. I'll see if we have any significant reports from the Public Outreach Subcommittee first.
Nothing from
No.
that committee.
Right.
In
talked about
the beginning of
Arbor
the year, we'll start on Arbor Day.
Right, and photo contest.
Yes.
Okay, 2 tree inventory, tree master plan subcommittee.
I think that's still on me. I'll try and get some of that work done maybe by the end of this year for Carol.
Okay, and finally the tree planting subcommittee.
That's Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
One tree.
Um,
All other, yeah.
We just-
Oh dear.
Oh, it's because we have it singular. We say tree planting rather than trees planting, right?
It's a really good
That's
tree.
why.
It's a really good tree.
It's not the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, is it?
No, it was our Arbor Day tree we planted
Oh.
on Dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Can I
anyone
just,
have-
one thing to
Yeah.
put maybe for January, because my wife asks me about this every time we drive by the Niski Co-op area. I really like the changes that have been done there, but what can we do to get some trees in there?
Yeah.
If we can't put them into the ground, then let's get some in planters.
And
Yeah.
planters. Okay. Yeah, I know you've brought that up before, but I'll put it as an agenda item. And then my guess for getting that done would be seeing Metroplex is the one that bought that street furniture, the benches that came out recently.
Uh-huh.
Seeing if we could meet with them and see if they're able to provide planters or something like that.
Okay.
Which I'm happy to do.
Because it's really spare now.
Mhm.
It is, definitely. We
And-
had pretty big trees in planters in Valdez. Like they were spruce trees. They had to move the planters around with a forklift, but they were nice. And I don't know, they were alive and happy the 8 years that I lived there. You can
Good.
definitely do it.
And be thinking about what our goals should be for 2024.
2 trees.
Mm. I'm good trees.
Well, you want to double our production? That's pretty ambitious.
Maybe for Arbor Day, we should plant 2 trees and then at least.
There
we'll
we
have-
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Arbor Day seems to really be amazing. Like our Arbor Day is awesome. We are able to get trees planted for Arbor Day. That's never been a problem. We have planted 2 trees in the past.
So
We
maybe we plant 60.
we could pick a street and be like, "This is our Arbor Day.
Exactly.
We're going to plant."
If you
Um,
want a
20
tree, you have to
trees
you
here.
have to
Yeah.
help us.
Come get your seedling.
Okay. All right. Anyone want to make a motion to, yeah,
I move.
Jeff?
Yeah,
Okay.
I second it.
all in favor? Okay. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Have a
Happy
wonderful
holidays.
holiday.
Happy holidays and Happy New Year.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody.
See you in
Bye-bye.
January.
Yeah.